Welcome to Hero Villains. In your opinion, who triumphs when Gladiator faces General Zod? A sky-tearing clash between two invincible titans. Gladiator, whose real name is Kallark, is the greatest warrior of the Shi'ar Empire, renowned for his absolute loyalty and his unshakable will. For the more he believes in himself, the more he becomes nearly invincible. Gladiator possesses superior physical strength, supersonic speed, flight, heat vision, and freezing breath. He has faced and overwhelmed many mighty cosmic entities, proving his status as one of the most formidable warriors in the galaxy. General Zod is a ruthless Kryptonian warrior, perfectly trained in tactics and combat. Under the light of a yellow sun, Zod possesses powers similar to Superman, but surpasses him in fighting skills and military mindset. He has super strength, speed, flight, heat vision, and superhuman senses. Unlike many other Kryptonians, Zod does not hesitate or show mercy, as he fights with cold and absolute decisiveness. Before we dive deep into the analysis, please press the subscribe button, and please remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you all very much. Kallark is a warrior of the Strontian race, enhanced through a special ritual designed for gladiators. In addition to his inherent natural abilities, this process equipped him with the capacity to survive in the harsh vacuum of space, and amplified his physical strength to a new level. The Gladiatorian Space Knight icon classified him at the Alpha Plus level, a measurement confirming a power potential that is nearly infinite. A unique aspect of Gladiator's abilities, especially his physical strength, durability, and resistance to damage, is his psyche. When his self-belief wavers, his power can decrease drastically, even making him vulnerable to much weaker enemies if he loses his will to fight. Gladiator's physical strength reaches an extraordinary threshold where the ultimate limit remains an absolute mystery. His punches carry destructive energy so great they can erase entire planets. This power mechanism is intimately linked to his confidence, creating a resonant loop. The firmer the belief, the more the power multiplies. Throughout his history of warfare, he has continuously achieved glorious feats, proving that peerless strength. He easily struck down Colossus, defeated the Thing with just 2 finishing punches, and used his palm to neutralize the momentum from Hyperion before exerting all his effort to break his opponent's spine. Gladiator also tore out the eyes of Vulcan, an Omega-level mutant, then delivered a blow that left him completely unconscious. In his confrontation with the Fantastic Four, he even uprooted the entire Baxter building from its foundation. An impressive detail comes from a comment by his son, Kubark, stating that his father once used his bare hands to tear apart the fabric of cosmic black holes, a feat far beyond all limits. As the supreme leader of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, Gladiator possesses a treasury of abilities rivaling gods and legendary cosmic entities. One of his most formidable weapons is the ability to fire extremely concentrated energy beams from his eyes. The maximum temperature these beams can reach remains an unsolved mystery, but combat records show they can heat up to levels far exceeding the heat of the stars. The clearest evidence of this terrifying destructive power is when his beams scorched the nearly invulnerable skin of the Hulk. They were also powerful enough to disable Hyperion's atomic vision, creating a violent explosion so intense it temporarily paralyzed both opponents. The heat from his eyes, like all his other abilities, operates based on confidence. Gladiator can use his bare hands to collapse stars, and once destroyed a brood alien with a mere spit. During an attack where he was surrounded by Skrull forces, his retaliatory punch released such massive energy that it lit up a new star near Pluto. He completely destroyed a planet that had resiliently survived the collapse of countless galaxies. Even when facing Galactus in an excited state, his punch was strong enough to cause tremors down to the remaining bones of the universe. One of the most legendary feats that defined his name was the slaying of Ruxur, the very first host of the Phoenix Force, a being who once held the energy of the entire universe within his grasp. Gladiator once successfully froze Tureen, an entity possessing infinite power known as the Designate. He resiliently withstood the full might of this cosmic being, a level of power that Thor himself admitted rivaled the absolute omnipotence of Odin. It must be emphasized that when the power of the Designate merged with that of Odin, the combination was capable of completely destroying both Surtur and Odin himself. Not stopping there, Gladiator also successfully repelled the relentless attacks from Starbrand, another entity carrying infinite potential who was famous for slaying a member of the Beyonder race. In another direct confrontation, Gladiator defeated Thor and kicked away the divine hammer Mjolnir, a weapon whose influence spans from the multiverse to the entire cosmos. It is especially noteworthy that he continuously endured many earth-shattering blows from Mjolnir, while Thor fought with absolute ruthlessness. Gladiator's strength was also clearly shown when he competed and maintained an overwhelming advantage over Cyclops and Colossus, mutants who once possessed 1/5 of the Phoenix Force power. He also directly struck down Kithri, a supreme god of the Shi'ar race, the deity who, along with his spouse Shara, is recorded in legend as the creator of all space and time. The absolute pinnacle of Gladiator's heroic feats was his ability to affect a version of Galactus that had been empowered to the extreme. This entity had absorbed terrifying beings such as Misan Ha-Garath, Dormammu, and Satanish, causing the Nightmare Lord Nightmare to fall, and even forcing the Living Tribunal to feel pure fear. In that desperate context, Gladiator could still temporarily resist and burn the body of Galactus. From this historic encounter, legends arose that he was the strongest mortal the Devourer of Worlds ever faced in his eternal life. Gladiator operates within frozen time, perceiving and reacting even when time stands still, demonstrating infinite speed. Even when exhausted, he still fought Thor, who admitted that Gladiator could have killed them all. He can even pierce the fabric of space with only his heat vision. He is completely unaffected by the impact of time bubbles. He does not just transcend time and space, but actively resists their influence. Gladiator crosses galaxies faster than even the omnipotent blink of Heimdall, traversing intergalactic distances with speed that is nearly immeasurable. I truly hope you will subscribe to the channel, as it will help us a lot, and you are the most wonderful person. Thank you very much. Now let us speak of General Zod. Before the Rebirth era, General Zod was never truly regarded as a superior threat when measured against Superman. However, a turning point emerged during the Rebirth phase, when the sun god Apollo bestowed upon Zod a monumental enhancement, elevating his power to the same level as the Man of Steel himself. The stunning displays throughout this period proved his entirely new status. Each individual footstep Zod slammed onto the ground was enough to create deep fissures spreading across the surrounding terrain. His reaction speed was raised to a transcendent level, possessing enough agility and fluidity to easily outmaneuver Clark in head-on confrontations. Zod's endurance also became extraordinary as he calmly absorbed the full force of Clark's thunderous punches with the noble posture of a true champion, before delivering a counterattack that effortlessly sent his opponent flying. Zod's destructive power was vividly portrayed when he needed only a single blow to completely knock out a raging Supergirl. This is considered a particularly impressive feat because Superman himself often faced countless difficulties whenever he had to fight to restrain his cousin. Zod did not only possess terrifying physical strength, but he also displayed a steel will far beyond all normal limits. He once performed the horrifying act of cutting through his own skull to remove a Kryptonian bomb implanted deep in his brain, a testament to his absolute ruthlessness and insane courage. Zod's combat prowess continued to be forged through fierce trials when he stood tall against the relentless waves of attacks from multiple powerful enemies at once, including Hank Henshaw, all members of the Suicide Squad, and even the Eradicator, without showing any sign of flinching. Like all other Kryptonians, when bathed in the radiation of a yellow sun, General Zod possesses a full treasury of latent abilities, reaching the level of a purebred Kryptonian warrior. More notably, when exposed to energy sources from a blue sun or a white dwarf, the power released from his body increases exponentially, far exceeding all limits. General Zod holds physical strength, movement speed, and extraordinary endurance at an extremely high threshold, capable of creating balance and even dominating in life or death struggles against Superman and other mighty Kryptonian warriors. Zod also possesses years of relentless combat training. He once faced and defeated creatures twice his size, as well as heavy armored warriors with his bare hands alone. He is a highly disciplined soldier, possessing a cold combat psychology and never hesitating when forced to take a life. Zod has mastered many traditional martial arts of Krypton, which transforms him into a fighter who is both extremely dangerous and absolutely ruthless. His training foundation was built from a very young age, focusing on developing sharp analytical thinking. It was that seemingly harmless treasury of scientific knowledge that later became the tool for him to manipulate and deceive the entire planet of Krypton into a whirlpool of war. Additionally, Zod has the ability to release the solar energy absorbed from his body in the form of intense thermal radiation, a weapon of destruction that can incinerate everything in its path. However, firing this radiation requires a very high price, as it will drain the energy reserves in his body many times faster than any other high-intensity action. Heat vision stands as one of the most devastating weapons within General Zod's biological arsenal. Through sheer concentrated will, he can unleash incredibly powerful thermal beams from his eyes, directly toward his target. Zod possesses an exceptionally sophisticated level of control over this weapon, which allows him to adjust the temperature and the radius of the beam with total flexibility to fit any combat scenario. One of his most destructive ultimate techniques is the Solar Storm, a move of absolute power. When activating this skill, Zod instantly releases every ounce of yellow solar radiation stored within each of his cells at once, creating a wide area attack of total devastation that leaves no shadow for an enemy to hide. However, such destructive force demands a staggering price for survival. He cannot utilize the Solar Storm more than once or twice, as this blow completely drains every last drop of energy from his physical form. After the execution, Zod falls into a state of exhaustion so profound that he becomes nearly human and remains extremely vulnerable for a full 24-hour window while waiting for his cells to replenish their solar energy. Aside from his supernatural powers, Zod is a brilliant combatant with flawless fighting techniques. His extraordinary might was once demonstrated by a thunderous strike that sent the cosmic tyrant Mongol hurtling deep into outer space. Once he pushes past all sensory limits, he can cast aside his armor and engage in a desperate life-or-death struggle with a raging Superman until the very last man falls. General Zod is truly menacing and remains without a doubt one of Superman's most lethal adversaries. The fated confrontation between two mighty powers has officially opened, as Gladiator, the ultimate warrior of the Shi'ar Empire, descends like a deity, carrying an absolute and unshakable belief in his own strength. On the opposite side, General Zod, the military mastermind from the ruins of Krypton, with a burning ambition for dominance, sets foot upon the ground with cold eyes and an iron will that nothing can break. Gladiator's opening punch tears through the atmosphere, creating a violent shockwave, yet Zod remains standing without a single flinch. He immediately counters with a series of strikes precise to the millimeter, cold and efficient like a perfectly programmed machine of destruction. Two sources of destructive energy collide repeatedly, creating earthquakes that ripple through the surrounding space, while their terrifying speed makes the very fabric of reality appear warped and twisted. Initially, Gladiator overwhelms with raw physical power, while Zod resiliently resists and neutralizes the assault with supreme combat skills and a transcendent tactical mind. Zod quickly realizes a fatal weakness in his opponent's psyche, a flaw that can be exploited. He immediately shifts his approach, no longer seeking to defeat Gladiator with pure force, but instead pivoting to a calculated psychological offensive. Mockery as sharp as a blade and continuous strategic blows rain down, causing Gladiator to fall into a state of doubt. The moment the Shi'ar warrior's self-belief begins to waver, his infinite source of power immediately diminishes visibly and tragically. Zod takes full advantage of that lethal moment, unleashing a barrage of relentless attacks, precise in every detail and absolutely ruthless. Gladiator tries to struggle in vain to stand and regain his spirit, but with every passing second, Zod tightens the circle and controls the battlefield more comprehensively. Finally, a decisive finishing blow strikes down with highly concentrated destructive force. Gladiator's body is sent hurtling away away in a position of complete loss of control mid-air, leaving behind a long trail of devastation on the ground. Zod stands tall amidst the desolate ruins of the battlefield, his gaze remaining cold and without a single tremor, possessing an unshakable steel will. The final winner is General Zod. I hope you liked this battle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Please follow me if you like it. That is the video for today. Thank you very much.